being a loser like those XDefiant fanboys, being a loser like those XDefiant fanboys. Ho, ho, ho!
Hey guys, Nightfall here, and recently I was introduced to this YouTuber by the name of Ghost of 8. I have now seen a grand total of 3 of his videos, and I have come to the conclusion, just based on those 3 videos, that this dude is either a professional troll or just an idiot. He may just be the most bipolar, schizophrenic, paste-eaten YouTuber I have ever seen. In those 3 videos I watched, he goes from hating XDefiant and trying to say it's absolute trash and nobody played it, to Activision is behind the shutdown of XDefiant and they paid them off, to people like Blame Truth and Jay Bowen lied to their audience about XDefiant being good. Now, while I wasn't cool enough to be name dropped by this clown, I felt personally attacked. I felt some type of way because of some of his comments, and let me play those for you right now.
Is they're trying to say XDefiant was great because it was competition for Black Ops 6 and Call of Duty, and if Call of Duty doesn't have competition, that's not good.
Now, that was one of my arguments that I've recently made videos on prior to the announcement that XDefiant was going to be shut down. I've said from the very beginning, we need competition in the gaming space for games to be good again. And even though I cut his clip off a little short there, I don't want to take it out of context. So let me elaborate further on what he says. He later goes on to explain how Call of Duty is in the worst state that it's ever been in, or at least has been in since it started getting competition. But he also listed games like Fortnite as competition to Call of Duty. Fortnite is not direct competition to Call of Duty, not like XDefiant is, or was. Still kind of weird. But there's no way this man says this with a straight face. Fortnite might be competition to Warzone, but it's not competition to games like Black Ops 6. If Fortnite is competition to Call of Duty, so is Apex, so is PUBG. They're an entirely different genre of game outside of Warzone. But Warzone is not what we're talking about. Like, he cannot be for real right now. Competition is good for gamers, not for companies. That's a fact. When was the last Call of Duty that most people would agree was just an awesome game? Probably Black Ops 2 or 3. You know what other game or franchise was still around back then that gave them almost direct competition? Halo. And since Halo kind of took a back seat and hasn't been releasing often, or when they do, haven't been releasing good games since Halo 3, maybe Halo 4, COD has just become complacent to put out sloppy, unfinished games with the same exact bugs every single year. Just from the clip I played for you in the intro and that one extra clip, this guy sounds unhinged, and I'd even go so far as to call him jealous because some of the other comments he made about other creators getting views while his videos suffered and he lost subscribers. Maybe you lost subscribers because a lot of your subs like XDefiant and they were tired of hearing you trash it. He's just like so many of the people I see in all my comment sections thinking they aren't being negative and they're just giving their opinion. Let me give you an example of the two so that everybody understands. I think COD is fucking trash, and I don't get how morons play that trash ass game every single year. That's being negative. Now, let's try to form that into an actual opinion. COD is just not for me for X, Y, and Z reasons. Then in passing, he makes another weird comment in one of the videos I watched about how all these YouTubers are just being clickbaity and extreme and trying to get your views because they're trying to get ad revenue. He even goes so far as to say that no one is exempt from this, including himself. Well, I'd like to say, speak for yourself. And I'd like to raise my hand and say, I don't give 2 fucks about the ad revenue. The ad revenue comes because I make the videos. I make the videos because I give my opinion on how I feel about things. Certain things I feel extreme about, so I'll make a video on it. I have never once gone out of my way to try to make a video seem like more than it actually was for view count, ever. I'll let you guys know when I get to that point, but it has yet to happen. But anyway, let's go ahead and get back on topic. I'm not usually one to engage in direct drama over YouTube Like, this isn't some Kendrick Drake beef diss track back and forth stuff. I might respond to you on Twitter if you say something out of pocket and call you like a twat waffle or something. But usually I don't go out of my way to make videos responding to other people and the stuff that they say, except one time. And this guy needs to get the Kainuru treatment because there's no way that he's serious with anything that he's saying. Like, somebody say psych right now. This guy has to be joking. He is literally Frank the Tank personified. Inside joke. If you know, you know. If you don't, you should come to the live stream more often. But he references videos of his from 6 months ago and says he told us the game was dead back then, 6 months ago. 6 months ago. So we're in December. So 6 months ago was 1, 2, 3. Oh, June. Fucking June. Which was just like 1 month into the release of XDefiant. And I know how these guys love to use Twitch viewer numbers as gospel for player count. So here you go. In May, at launch of XDefiant, it had 13,000 average viewers. In June, it had 9,000 average viewers. Now, if you can look at that and tell me it's going to die based solely on those 2 months, you need to play the lottery or something, because that's some Nostradamus shit. Every game sees a fall off similar to that. Call of Duty is no exception either. To sit here with such arrogance and directly call out and attack other creators and throw shade at some of the other ones out of what I can only imagine to be pure jealousy, like I mentioned before, this guy thinks that XDefiant shut down because it was a bad game and had no players. Because 15 million downloads is no players. Because even at its lowest point, at about 20,000 concurrent players, is no players. It's not a lot of players, sure, but there are tons of games still going to this day with much less player count. And do you know why? Because of the company behind it. Some of the old Black Ops games are still up and running. Those weren't shut down. XDefiant isn't shutting down because it's bad or it had no players or because people weren't spending money. It's shutting down because Ubisoft is in a terrible spot financially right now, and they're preparing to either go bankrupt or sell out to somebody else. In other words, XDefiant was just collateral damage. But even if that wasn't the case, in one of his own videos, which I still can't be sure if he was trolling or not, he claims that Activision basically forced Ubisoft to shut them down and had inside people or paid them off for some crazy conspiracy theory. So make up your mind, dude. Is it so shit and no one played it and that's why it's being shut down? Or was it just so good and Activision got so scared of its potential and paid Ubisoft to shut it down? Because it can't be both, but I digress. If you needed any more evidence of how clueless this guy actually is, let me play a couple more clips from his other video where he talks about Scump and Nadeshot commenting on XDefiant back when it first came out.
If you weren't doing drops for this game, would you honestly still play it? Really?
I just want to make something clear before we begin there. If you see a streamer that says drops enabled, and that's why someone was asking if you didn't have drops enabled, would you be streaming and playing this game? People that have drops enabled are sponsored, are being paid, and have money to be made, long story short, by playing and streaming XDefiant by Ubisoft.
What? I didn't think someone with this much of a following on YouTube could be so fucking dense and have zero idea how Twitch drops work. I have drops enabled on any game I stream on Twitch if they're available. You know how much money I get from the companies who made those games? And in particular with this case, XDefiant and Ubisoft? $0. Ubisoft hasn't ever paid me a cent. Just because someone has Twitch drops enabled doesn't mean they're being paid to play the game. I can literally go dig up my dead grandmother, prop her ass up in a fucking chair, set up a Twitch account, turn on drops, and let her corpse sit there on stream on the home screen of XDefiant, load up my account, watch her stream for 2 hours, and get the fucking drops. Ubisoft gonna pay a dead bitch? No. But then, as if it couldn't get any stupider, listen to what Shit for Brains says next.
Dead. Another thing that has it going for it is that XDefiant is free to play, so no one has anything to lose by playing it. And also your margin for, I guess, or rather your bar for how successful a game or fun the game has to be is also lower because it's free to play.
Now, maybe this is just me. Y'all, let me know down in the comments, but if I play a game that's free, that shit better be fire. or I'm going to stop playing it after a few hours and lose nothing except for the few hours I spent playing it. But if I already bought a game for $60, I'm more inclined to just say it's pretty good and keep playing it longer because I want the most out of the $60 that I just paid. So I'm probably not just going to play it for 2 hours and then never touch it again. So there you go. Kind of glad I got to rant about something. Get this pent up rage out from hearing all the incompetence that is Ubisoft. Anyway, tried something new, not a new game, but a new approach. If you enjoyed, leave a like on the video. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on everything discussed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.